So, hi, Jem. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Can we start with you, please, give an introduction to you, your business, and what you sell?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Jen. I'm based in the Cotswolds, and I'm originally a greetings card designer and illustrator. And we've recently launched a new product to market called Ad Squirrel in June. So we've been running that alongside it at the same time.
Amazing, thank you. And so, how long have you been working as a greetings card publisher?
I've been working as a greetings card publisher for around 7 years now. Started off with a few illustrations and then just sort of grew from there. And I just found that the cards sold really well. So it's sort of the avenue we went down. We do sell giftware as well. We've got eco-friendly bags, coasters, placemats, chopping boards, all sorts. But with price rises and when Russia and Ukraine happened, stock just went through the roof because I buy everything in the UK. And it just didn't make it as feasible anymore. So I focused on the card market and sort of took it down more the wholesale route. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. And am I right in thinking that all the art on your cards and other products it's all your art? Is that right?
Yeah, they're all my illustrations. Yeah, they're all watercolor. Yeah,
Oh,
and they've all got a sort
amazing.
of they're all eco-friendly in terms of the cards are all carbon neutral, printed in the UK with veggie-based inks, but they've also all got splashes of nature in them somewhere, so they're quite distinctive. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. And we will talk about Ad Squirrel in a moment, but I'd just love to know how you got
Yeah,
into
absolutely.
like the greetings card market, if that's the right way of phrasing it.
Yeah, it's a really odd market. It's a great market, but it's very much you've either been in it for 20 years or you haven't. There's not a lot of new stuff sort of coming through. And I suppose I mainly started just selling B2C, so direct to consumer. Up until this year, I sort of did shows all over the country every weekend. I was very consumer facing, um, but they're quite exhausting and they take up a lot of time and they get quite expensive. So I wanted to take it down more of a wholesale route a few years ago. So I signed up to my first trade show, and I decided to do Spring Fair because it's the biggest. And I had a little 2 by 2 meter stand just pre-COVID, and I took, I think, along 40 or 50 designs at the time, knowing that I didn't have quite enough, but it was enough to fill the wall. And everyone kept saying, don't expect anything from your first trade show, just go in with no expectations. So I did, and I think I walked away with around 6 or 7 new shops, and I was really thrilled with that. I was really happy, and so it just kind of it grew from there. And now we're stocked in over 350 stores in the UK. I stock the National Trust, I stock the RSPB, and yeah, we're just growing from there. So a very organic growth. It's taken quite a few years.
Oh, that's amazing. And I imagine that it makes sense to go down that route eventually because I can't imagine that the margins are great with cards, maybe.
So they're actually really good. So because it's a
Really?
paper product, yeah, they're actually really, really good. There's room for everyone in the chain. So there's room for the printer. I get mine direct from printers, so there's no middleman there, and then I sell direct to shops. So I purchase, I mean, I buy them in bulk. I buy them anywhere between 4 and 8,000 at a time. And they sit around 26p ex VAT, and I've got quite a luxury stock. So for a lot of people, that'll be cheaper than that. And then I sell them on at 90 pence ex VAT naked. So they've got quite a good margin on them. But it is a volume game because obviously you're talking under £1 per unit. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but that's amazing. And thank you for explaining that because it's the complete opposite of what I expected. So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it's good.
oh, so let's move on and talk about Ad Squirrel. So can you tell us all
Yeah,
what Ad Squirrel is and how it works? That's probably a really good place to start.
absolutely. I'm getting a lot better at this because it's a brand new product to market. No one has done it yet. And it's a tricky one. You don't always want to be first to market, but it's one of those things where I thought if I never do this, I'm always going to be saying what if. So I have brought one along with me. So Ad Squirrels are smart QR code stickers that let you add a video, photo, or voice note to any card or gift. So they work two-way. So what I mean by that is you, the sender, scan it once and it would say, what would you like to upload? Video, photo, or voice note. You can record on there and then, or you can pick it from your library. And when you're done, you lock it. You can lock it with a password if it's sensitive information. And then you stick it inside the card, you send it off, your recipient sends exactly the same code, and they get to see what you've sent them. So they're sort of two-way QR technology, which is great. And they're super easy to use. I've designed them with my nan. So they are very simple screens, sort of just a few steps, and it's done. So yeah, that's what they are. And they come in packs of 3, 6, and 10 at the moment. And yeah, they're not just for cards. You can use them for gifts. You could use them for weddings, invites, everything. Like, the possibilities are endless.
No, that's amazing. Thank you. And for anyone who's watching this on YouTube, you'll have been able to see Jen showing us an example. So if you're not on YouTube, then you could go over now and you'll actually get to see it, because I think it's well worth getting to look at. So before we talk more about how you created Ad Squirrel, what inspired you? Where did you come up with the idea? Because it's a great idea and it's so unique.
It's one of those things that you think, why has no one done this yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at Spring Fair last year, so that's in February, and my mum, bless her, she's great help. She helps me at the trade fairs, and we were sat on the last day, which is always dead, and we were sat just having a cup of tea, and we were looking at the cards, and all show we've been hearing people always looking for new stuff. They're like, what's new? They come to the trade shows because they're like, what's new in your, on your catalogue? What are you doing that's new? And we were talking about it, and we were saying, one of the things that makes my cards stand out is that they're illustrated organically. They're not hand designed using an iPad or Procreate. I physically paint them and then turn them into illustrations from there. And we were saying, it'd be really nice, because I often record myself painting them and time lapses, and it'd be really nice if we had a QR code on the back of all the cards showing a time lapse of me actually painting the image, to show the sender and the receiver that actually is someone actually physically painting it. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that is quite nice, but no one's really going to scan it, no one's going to use it. And then we just went down a QR code hole, really, and came up with Ad Squirrel. And yeah, it just sort of progressed from there, and we had a lot of technical difficulties at the start. How can the same code be used? To start with, it started off with, why don't we use, I don't know if you get gift codes, and they've got like a code that you put in, like, could someone put in a code then? And then that was really complicated. So we streamlined it over this year, and yeah, ended up with what we got. So yeah.
Well, that's amazing. And yeah, I'd love to talk a little bit more about how you actually create it. I mean, first of all, how do you even create a QR code? I had no idea. I see QR codes all the time. Of course, we all do. They're so they're so popular now, aren't they?
Yeah.
If you look at a poster or something in a magazine, there's often a QR code.
Yeah.
How easy is it to create them? And I imagine you're not just creating one, you're creating hundreds, thousands, because obviously every Ad Squirrel is unique.
It's unique. Yeah. So yeah, we really differ there from the standard QR code, but QR codes are really easy to generate. They're essentially, every QR code is a URL. So it's a website link. So you can go on to qrcodegenerator.org, I think it's called, and you put in a website link. So if you wanted to chuck a QR code that went directly to your website, for example, you can put it in there, you can choose a color, you can put your logo in, you can press go, and it will generate you a QR code that will go to your website. Where we differ is the fact that, the code, the URL changes slightly to whether it's been uploaded to whether it's been downloaded. So it's slightly different. So that's where I had to get a very clever guy called Carl in from Weird Wolf, and he has coded it all from scratch for me, and that's how we got around that. So yeah, ours differ, because we're generating sort of, when we send them to print, they're generating sort of 10 to 20,000 totally unique QR codes, which has its own problems when you're trying to print them. So you don't want to print two of the same things, because you might end up with someone's video. So yeah, there's a lot of process that goes into it.
It sounds like it. And how easy is it to find a printer that can do that? Because obviously most printers, and I imagine for your cards, they're printing thousands of one design. How easy was it to find someone who could do that for you?
It took a while, because originally I wasn't sure my printers that I got my cards from would be able to do it. But I actually took a drive down. They're in Dorset, and I thought, just, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours from me. But I thought, no, this is like an in-person meeting. And I drove down, and they were really keen for the project, and they were really, they were amazing, actually. They've helped me redesign the packaging as well. And they already have systems in place for unique codes. So what they do when they print the QRs for me is outside the printing area, each QR code actually has a number. So when they're printing them out, they can make sure that nothing's being duplicated on the printer. So yeah, it did take a while to find the right one, but they've been amazing. So yeah, they're great.
And you mentioned you were working with your nan on the digital side of it to make sure that it was simple to use. That's really smart, because I was going to ask you, have you done any user testing? So was she your focus group?
Yeah, she was our main, because she does have an iPhone and she has an iPad, but she is sort of at that stage where you call her on FaceTime and she still puts it to her ear. So she was a really good tester, and a good person to bounce off. And I also did it with my cousins who are teenagers as well. So we did a lot of user testing to start with, and we were really clear in the design when we were designing the screens, and we were talking to the designer, that the screens had to be really clear, had to be minimal text, really easy to use, and that within sort of 4 or 5 clicks you could get your media uploaded, so it wasn't complicated.
Well, that makes sense. And then, of course, there's, as well as the digital side, I guess there's it's also a physical product, because you buy them in packs, don't you? So you're buying the physical. Are they stickers? Is that how they work?
Yeah. So that's for those that are watching on YouTube, that's what the packs look like. So again, it was a challenge in designing the packaging, because the packaging had to have enough information on it because it's brand new. So we actually went for a one sheet packaging in the end to minimize, so I'll open one up. So it kind of folds out like that. I wanted a bit more of an unboxing experience as well, that like Apple use, and then the stickers are inside, and you've got some simple FAQs there. So that's where we went with the packaging. But yeah, that took 25 different revisions. So many. But yeah, we got there in the end.
That's really nice. And people, you need to get onto YouTube to see that as well, because that was really nice to get to see that unboxed. And I guess also the design of the stickers as well, so they look how they want to look in the cards.
Yeah, and that was really tricky, because whenever you're trying to brand something like this, you want something that, because it's new, you want it to stand out on the shelves, but you want it to also be able to fit with all the different types of products people are going to be using it with. So we went for quite a neutral color palette. We've got the yellow in there, but it's not in your face. So yeah, and the stickers are quite tactile as well, having enough space to write names on. And yeah, that was also another sort of 25 revisions before we got that right as well.
Well, I guess a lot of work goes into a product, and like, it was really struck me when I was thinking about yours that obviously there was a digital side and the physical side. So you need to get both right. So that's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. We had a really good team working on both, but it was a lot of processes and making sure they speak to each other well enough as well.
So how new is Ad Squirrel, Jen?
It's very new. We launched in June. We soft launched in June, and we've only been going sort of 3 or 4 months. But we've got obviously the physical product side to the business that are selling through stores and through our B2C website, but we've also got a white labeling side to it as well. So when we built the software, we built it so that we could make the system look like any other brand if they wanted to use it. So for brands that were already sending out personalized content or gifts, for example, could add it as an extra add-on to their customer base, and add it as an extra offering. So we've kind of got 2 sides to the business. So it's been an interesting journey so far with both. Educating the market, I really underestimated how much effort that would take.
Yeah, I really wanted to talk about that, actually. So your product is so new, and it's really innovative, and it's really unique. So how are you marketing it? And I guess there's 2 sides to that as well, because not only are you marketing it directly to consumers, but also to stores that are stocking
B2B,
it as well. Yeah. So let's we start with it's up to you if you want to start with B2B or B2C, but I'd love to talk more about it.
Yeah, so B2C I thought would be easier, but actually I was wrong. The problem is when I first launched it, so I had an initial investment pot that I spent on the software, which we needed to, and also on IP and trademarks and patents, and we spent about 10 grand on IP. It was crazy. So that was great, but we're at a position now where we've got no money in the pot left for any ads, for any marketing, for anything like that. And although I've not had to spend anything like that, like Gem Winnet Art has grown completely organically, but that's taken 7 years, and this needs a bit of a boost. So our main direction to start with was to target stores, to pop it in, to do half of the selling for us, direct to consumer. We've used our social media platforms, and also I've been sending out, because I've got such a good customer base with Gem Winnet Art, they've been getting free Ad Squirrels with their orders to try and explain, how to do it. And it's been really mixed feedback. People have been, it's really odd, you'd think, and you said it at the start, that QRs are everywhere. Like, people aren't worried about them anymore. People know how to use them. But actually, I found the complete opposite. And actually, people have really, not everyone's taken to it. And I found that once people have tried it once, they love it, and they then use it on every single card they've got, and they put it on every single present. But it's getting the consumer to use it once. So we've actually taken it down, as of this month, we're taking it down a totally different route, which is we're actually just gifting them out for people to use, and targeting, like, I've sent out loads of emails to prospective bride and grooms gifting 100 to 200 Ad Squirrels that they can use on their wedding day, so people can just try it and get to know it, because for us that is cheaper than spending money on social ads that might not reach people, because it's such an experience of a product that people just need to actually use it. So that's the route we've kind of taken it down with the B2C route at the moment. I thought we'd have a bit more of a structure in time for Christmas. We won't. That's fine. These things happen. You don't know until you try. So we'll just keep plugging away. And B2B has been good. We've got into about 15 stores. We did a trade show in June when we launched. We did another trade show in September. We've got another one in January and February. But again, retailers are really hesitant to take it on because it's so new. And it's they don't know how to explain it to customers in stores, even though we've provided like a whole pack and a whole social pack, and our CDUs that they sit on in the store are really bright and colourful, and they've got a lot of explaining on them. But we found that even when they're in stores, they're not selling because people don't know what they are, and they don't know how to pick them up. They're just not picking them up because they don't know what they are, and then they're busy and they're not taking time to read what they are. So that's been interesting as well. We did have conversations with WH Smith, which was great, and they'll be in a few stores by next year, which is fantastic. And we've been pitching to some other big stores like Waterstones and everything, but that is a sort of a more slow burner. And then on the software side, we're making some developments at the moment with the software that will enable us to sell more, sort of to license it out to other brands. So that's exciting, and that's how I sort of see my winter project going, because all the B2B stores won't be buying again until next year now. So that's, I think, where we're going to focus our time over the winter. So yeah, learning as we go, I think, is the answer across all three phases.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing so candidly all of that, because I think it's so interesting for people to hear.
Yeah.
Coming to the B2B, I have to say, I think it's really great to get into stores, particularly with the challenges of explaining what the product is. So obviously you're doing a great job of, that the retailers can see potential in the project for sure.
Yeah.
And actually, now that I've had a look and I've seen the video on your website and stuff, I can totally see imagine going into WH Smith's and there being a display on the till, or going into a card store, or I can totally see that if you're buying a card, this is a lovely add-on. I can totally get that. And I hadn't actually thought, so it's really interesting, because I thought the exact opposite about QR codes, as we said, that everyone was really familiar with QR codes. So that's really interesting.
It's been interesting, but we've also learned there's been a lovely branch of accessibility from this as well. So we've got we've got our product, we got Ad Squirrel into the Parkinson's UK Christmas catalogue, which is so wonderful because obviously the rep from Parkinson's, when we met her, was saying that for most people with Parkinson's, writing Christmas cards is just such a daunting task because it takes so long and it's really stressful. And now they can just leave a voice note with a click. And so, you know, the accessibility side of the product I hadn't even thought of. So it has been really nice as well to hear feedback from retailers. And I think I'm just quite an impatient person. And I think it will get there. I think just none of the big guys want to take the leap to start with. So I think we're just going to have to do a bit more groundwork, which is fine.
That's so interesting. And I think it's great that you're open to learning so much from this as well. And you know, realizing that actually what you might have thought in the beginning isn't necessarily how things are going.
Yeah.
I really found interesting what you were saying about gifting so many. So and what feedback are you getting from the people that you've gifted them to try? What kind of feedback are you getting back?
They love it. It's great. And then they're turning into sales because people have got to try it and they love it. So yeah, I think, and it's interesting because there's two sides when you give a product away for free, because you can devalue it. But I think in the case of this product, it's only going to add value because people can actually give it a go with this, like, risk-free. You know, we did want originally when we were planning, you know, the pack sizes, we wanted to sell them in packs of one, but it just wasn't, the margins weren't feasible because the packaging, we've gone for quite a luxury card around the edge and it just wasn't feasible. So to be able to give them out to people to try is actually just so wonderfully joyous because they're often sent for such lovely things. And yeah, the feedback and the stories back have been great, and it's the cheapest form of advertising for us at the moment. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting strategy. We'll see. Yeah,
I think it's really interesting, but I can also see how it could really work, because it's the sort of thing that people will talk about. If people receive a card with an Ad Squirrel, I genuinely think if I got one, I'd be so delighted. I would be telling everyone about it. I just think it's so unique and it is a talking point, and that's what you need. So I really think, and I really hope that pays off for you. I think it will. I think, as you said, it might be a slower burn than you expected, perhaps.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think we just have a bit of patience.
Interesting to see if in a couple of years, if this is just Ad Squirrels are standard inside. And have you just out of curiosity now, I've just wondered, because obviously you sell your own cards, is there a world in which cards could have Ad Squirrels in them as standard? Or
absolutely, yeah, we debated. One of the things we did debate was printing them directly into my cards as standard, and then it didn't matter if people didn't want to use them, it wouldn't matter, it would just stay dormant QR. But the problem comes there where they are so unique, each code, it would be quite challenging. I think you'd risk, duplicating printing. But yeah, it's something that we can offer up, and that's also why we did the white labeling. So if any card publishers did want to print directly into their cards, it's something we can offer, and it can look like their brand from the inside out. So yeah, I think it could become standard. But we went for sticker form because it was nice because they could stick on anything. So yeah.
And the white labeling aspect is really interesting as well. So are there brands that you're speaking with about that at the moment?
Yeah, there are. We're trying to, well, all sorts really, from really tiny ones all the way through to quite big ones. But we are very much offering a bespoke white labeled solution depending on their needs. So from supplying just some digital codes all the way through to providing them with a plugin that they could put on their website, so that when someone, for example, if you go onto a website to order a personalized baby blanket for someone that's going directly to them, you'd often leave a gift note, wouldn't you, that they'd print out. So now they'd be able to you could add a voice note, a photo or video on checkout that would get printed with your gift note. So it would just add that extra special touch. So that's the plan with that. Now we've built like the core software, it's quite easy to sort of do these tweaks in the add-ons, or so I'm told. I am not on the tech team. Yeah,
but that is all really exciting, and I think it's great that you've got these free streams for the business as well.
Yeah, I think I think with any business, I think even Gem at Art, it's someone always said to me, like, I can't remember even who told me, but it was 7 streams of income. You want to aim for 7 streams of income at any one time. And I think with any product business or tech business, having fingers in lots of different pies is never a bad thing, because if one is down, you can lean on the others. So yeah, I think we're definitely taking a similar strategy with Ad Squirrel.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And also, I think, especially for something so new as we keep coming back to, I guess it's hard to predict at the outset which of the streams will be the most profitable in the short term and in the long term. So yeah, it's nice to be able to spread your efforts a little bit. And so what are your goals for Ad Squirrel, Jen?
Well, the first goal was just to launch it, which it's here now. I would love it to become standard. I would love it when you go into the post office and you say, "Can I buy a pack of stamps, please?" to also say, "Can I have a pack of Ad Squirrel, please?" So I would love it to become the standard, and for those that received a card without an Ad Squirrel to be quite disappointed. So yeah, I would love it to become the standard. And I also think it will. I went to the Greetings Card Association conference this year. Yes, that's the thing. If you're not in the industry, you might think, "Oh my god, they do a conference just for greetings cards," but they do. And the main topic was postage cost rises, and the impact on the greetings card industry, and the younger generations not really, being more tech savvy, not really into sending cards, and how are we going to preserve it? And to me, this product is the solution to that, because it ties all of the generations together into one. But still keeps that physical product. It's not taking it all techie and all digital away. It's still keeping that nice. There's nothing beats a handwritten card. So it's not trying to take away from that. It's just adding to it.
Yeah, that's really nice. And also, Jen, I'm curious. I know you only launched in June, but have you taken Ad Squirrel to any trade shows yet? Because I know you mentioned you've been to Spring Fair with your cards.
Yeah, so we did PG Live in June, and we did Autumn Fair in September, and then we got Spring Fair and Giving and Living in January and Feb. I haven't done any B2C shows, to be honest. I think that's probably what it needs, but because we're out of money, we have no funds for shows at the moment. So I think build up the pot a little bit and then get out in person. We've done a few events. I'm sure I can find you a picture that I can send you that you can put up, make people laugh. I brought a giant squirrel costume over from America, one of the mascot costumes for launch, that my stepdad proudly wears around town. And we do quite a few events where we walk around town giving them out for free. And it does work. And I think we could expand that into several other cities sort of around Christmas, in shopping centres, just walking around in a giant squirrel outfit, giving them out for free. So you never know, it might come to a shopping centre near you soon. But yeah, so that's where we're going with that.
Oh, we definitely do need a photo of that, please. That would be amazing. Oh, thank you so much for all that you've shared, Jen. I have one final question, if that's okay, which is, what would your number one piece of advice be for other product creators?
Okay, so I was toying between 2 different pieces of advice here, but I think my number one,
if you want,
I can give 2. Okay, brilliant. I think number one is don't overorder stock. So it's quite easy when you're starting out to get really excited and place a big giant order of stock. The main issue with any product-based business is cash flow, and it always will be. And I am saying this as I'm sat on my 50,000 cards currently in the stock room, but we have built those up over quite some number of years. So place low orders to start, test the market, see what designs work. If it's just one product, see if it works. Get it out and see. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I think the second piece of advice would be what I said earlier about trying to find your 7 different streams of income for your product, whether that's going trade with it, whether that's dibbling in something you could provide electronically. For example, the lovely lady that I share my unit with, she owns a plant shop in Cirencester. She does workshops, terrarium workshops, as well as running the shop, as well as sort of doing corporate stuff. Like having those 7 streams of income, if you can, because it always balances out again, back to cash flow, it amounts to like your cash flow, and it gives you lots of things to sort of play on when other streams are down.
That makes so much sense. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything you shared. I'm so excited to see what happens with Ad Squirrel. I'm so excited to have you on at the beginning of the journey as well, so I can watch how it evolves and grows, because I think it's going to really take off. Well, thank you so much, Jen.
That's all right. Thank